Hello, everyone. I want to thank the President of the Council of Ministers, Giorgia Meloni, for accompanying us today here and giving her a warm welcome on behalf of all Argentines. The 20th century turned the Italians and Argentines into brothers villages with a common lineage and deep blood ties, which already date from several generations. So I want to tell you, to you dear Giorgia and your entire delegation, who are not only among friends but are in family, this is your home and I hope you feel comfortable and know that they will always be received in that way. Argentina and Italy have had an ambivalent relationship throughout the last 200 years, but blood ties are undeniable, which unite us as peoples. Culturally, we are brothers peoples. However, for decades we have had nothing more than a relationship of respect and friendship, which has failed to take advantage of those blood ties. Today we meet two related administrations, which recognize common challenges, each one from their own place, and we have the historical opportunity to strengthen our ties to build a special relationship between our nations, not only for our past ties, our culture, our afflictions, but also for our shared values. Values that today, unfortunately, are scarce in the Western world. Faced with the economic nonsense and advances on property rights, we defend free trade, wisdom and private property. Before sclerotic international organizations, we defend the sovereignty of our nations. Faced with an endless regulations that intend to dictate how to live each citizen, we want to recover freedom. Faced with the scourge of organized crime, we understand that the solution is to be inclement with the crime and support our security force instead of excusing criminals as others do. In the face of gender ideology, so fashionable in the West, in the last decade, we advocate the unrestricted respect of the right to life in defense of the family as a central element of society. And before the disease of the soul, which is the woke virus, we ask to restore common sense and return to the values which share the vast majority of citizens of the Western world, values that are incidentally, to a large extent, were forged in ancient Rome. In addition, I believe that Prime Minister Meloni and I have something in common, in a dimension that is political, but it is also personal. We were both chosen to conduct the destinations of our country, to address with courage, truth and without taping what we could call the central problem of each of our nations. In my case, end the rampant inflation and deep misery, which left in Argentina decades of collectivism. In the case, Prime Minister Meloni, giving a forceful response to the problem of uncontrolled immigration and its consequences on citizen security. There are few presidents from the world who are encouraged to tell the truth to citizens and face without barracks the structural problems of their countries. Those can count on a hand. And, as we both know well, doing so is not free, because we were and we are punished by the establishment for our actions and opinions, because they prefer to administer the decline before assuming the risk of building the solutions we are going to endure. Because we know that, in the long run, we are going to prevail. Even if they play with advantages, we will prevail. Because those who are fought with reality are them. Those who defend foreign ideas to our peoples are them, and because we are motivated by a noble cause, that our citizens are proud to be Argentine and Italian, give them a horizon of progress to entire generations, who lost hope, and restore their laurels of glory to our nations. I know that each one, from its place, is working tirelessly to achieve it, and I hope that, to all efforts, which we do separately, we can also add a joint work, collaborating between such, among which we have common goals, not only Italy and Argentina, but also other countries of the free world, which our values share. An alliance of free nations, united against tyranny and misery. Because today the West is under a mantle of darkness and demands that those who defend freedom, even if we are still few, let's light and mark the way. Because, as I always say, the victory of war does not depend on the number of soldiers, but on the forces that come from heaven. I am excited about the future of collaboration that holds our nations. I hope you too. Thank you so much, Meloni. Good morning everyone, and thank you very much. First, I want to thank President Milei for this warm reception with which he waited for us here in Buenos Aires, and that made us feel at home. I am very happy to be here, because it is the first time I come to Argentina, but it is also my first bilateral visit in Latin America since I arrived at the government. It is no coincidence to have chosen Buenos Aires because, as President Milei correctly remembered, the Italian people and the Argentine people are brothers peoples. Our historical friendship feeds daily for the presence of the largest community in Italians abroad, because we talk about more than 1 million Italians and approximately 20 million descendants of Italians who live today in Argentina. The link that unites our nations has deep roots, which come, even, from before Italy and Argentina were free and sovereign states. The love for freedom is a feeling, dear Javier, that always unites us. Clearly, with this visit, too, I wanted to return the special attention that President Milei had for Italy. I remember, with pleasure, that Rome was the first European capital that President Milei chose to visit after his election. We found ourselves in the Chigi Palace on February 12, and then we saw each other again at the G7 summit in Burgundy Egnazia, Puglia. As president on duty, he wanted Italy to be one of the invited nations, because we believe that the point of view of Buenos Aires is decisive, both to renew the relationship, which has been centuries, between Italy and Argentina, and to face the great challenges of our time. These are challenges that we deepen these days. First we did, at the G20 summit, where we confirm our common will to work together, especially in the main international scenarios. We did it, too, at our bilateral meeting, where we confirm the will to work together because our points of view in common are many. It comes in mind, now, Ukraine, Middle East, and also the crisis that Venezuela is going through. It is an issue that, both Italy and Argentina, is very close to them, in our cases by many citizens, of Italian origin, who are in a land that, as you know, even, in your name it links with Italy, particularly to Venice. We do not recognize the programmed victory by Maduro after elections that were not transparent at all. We condemn the repression of the regime that led to death to dozens of protesters, to the arrest of thousands of opponents, and to exile of the candidate for president of the democratic opposition. I think it is our duty to listen to our voice. I thank President Milei because he did it on several occasions. In all the communications of the G7 during our presidency, we made this position manifest, and we will still do it with a clearer voice, and we work for a democratic and peaceful transition of Venezuela, so that the preference manifested by the European people in favor of González Urrutia and the explicit demonstration of the search for freedom is plasmin in reality. Returning to our bilateral relations, we agree with the fact that Italy and Argentina still have great potential to explore. Italy and Argentina are a reference point for Latin America. Thus, with the president of Milei, we decided to work on 3 guidelines. The first is, obviously, political collaboration. We agreed to write, together, an Italia-Argentina action plan, 2025 to 2030 that identifies main sectors for bilateral collaboration, in which our efforts and energies can be concentrated. The second guideline on which we want to relaunch our common commitment is the fight against organized crime, since we are determined to fight drug trafficking, corruption, money laundering, infiltration of the economic and social system, and people traffic. We are proud, such as Italy, to offer the strength and solidity of our experience that are based on the research methods that 2 great Italians, such as Falconi and Borsellino, built, and that are today the foundations for all the strategies to fight against illegality. Italy is the protagonist of the European Initiative 2.0 of technical assistance to the fight against organized crime, and Italy is also committed to the programs, which are called precisely Falconi-Borsellino, which is one of the most important things in our legal diplomacy and also of police investigations for the preparation of our magistrates. And there is also the aspect of the commercial and investment issue, which we want to relaunch. The growth potential is extraordinary. Thanks to this, 300 Italian companies, which have 16,000 employees, with almost 3,000 million euros of business turnover in Argentina. And from this point of view, the valuable policies of market liberalization to support investments, which President Milei is carrying out, can open, from our point of view, new opportunities and be a subsequent incentive to grow the Italian presence of the way we would like to do, enriching our collaboration, especially in strategic systems such as energy transition, infrastructure, supply of critical raw materials, air transport and space. Clearly between me and President Milei share a political idea and is between two leaders who struggle to defend the freedom of the West. And the cardinal points are freedom, equality between nations, democratic systems, solidarity among nations. There is something that goes beyond common cooperation between nations. There is the awareness of living in a difficult world, the responsibility imposed by that difficulty, that is, the strength of the ideas and courage that is needed to defend those ideas. Italy and Argentina are sister nations and still have a long way to go together, and I am happy to travel this stretch on the way, with Javier, a brave man, my friend, a friend of Italy. Thank you so much.